And we're live. Hello, everyone. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, and welcome to episode number 68 of the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues. Today, my guests are David and Lynda Hatch of Attributive Martial Arts in Michigan. We've done the technology test. Everything should work well, and they should be coming on any second now. Hey, Bill saying. Okay, so David's here. Let me get him on camera. Hey, Daryl White. Hey, Greg Adamson. Michael Perez is here. Cool. All right.
Okay. Here we are.
Yep. Sounds good to me. Okay with you?
Yeah. Yep, I hear you loud and clear.
All right. Cool. You guys look like twins.
Twins?
But they say...
And no one said, don't cut yourself off.
They said...
He said, we look like twins.
But they say that happens when you've been together a long time.
Probably,
right?
Yeah.
And that actually was... Well, there's two things. You probably remember. I noticed from your bio that you started with Sifu Inosanto in 1985.
Right.
I am assuming that's when we met and that it was in St. Louis, Missouri.
No, actually, we met in 1987 when we had the Michigan summer camp.
No, really?
Yeah, 87 and 88, both.
I'm just dead wrong about things. Okay, all right, cool. Well, thanks for clearing that up. But now, but you two, okay? So I found the album with the photographs, and it looks like you tried to sneak up on her. She blocked your hand and decked you.
Yes. Yes, that's it. That's the one.
That is completely true.
Well, it was staged, of course.
Oh, okay, all right. But that is how it happened.
Yeah, we actually met in junior college.
Okay.
And and one of the reasons I went into the junior college is because they had a karate club.
Right. Yep.
And I wanted to learn, and I was in high school. I saw, of course, I knew Bruce Lee in '67, and you see him on the Green Hornet and everything. And it wasn't until, well, let's see, January '69 when I started junior college. And Lynda came into junior college in September of '69.
Okay.
So that's when I saw her.
So that's when you met.
Yes.
69 is when you met. Oh, okay.
69 is when we met.
Okay.
Right.
I was trying to work that out too.
At that time I became assistant instructor, and Lynda was in the front row of the class, and she's going there. They're doing the punches. The instructor give out the command. They go 2 punches. And the funny part was, I thought, Lynda doesn't look like she's doing it right. So, and I didn't know her name either. I just walked up to her. She had this nice long red hair. And I said, you got to correct your punches, And she's, oh, okay. In the meantime, the instructor goes behind the front line. She's in the front line. And he gives the commands, and everybody does 2 punches. Then Lynda does 2 punches. And I said, well, keep up with the group. She just goes, And she's late. I couldn't figure it out. So this counselor pulls me over. He says, hey, Dave, she can't hear. She's deaf. And I'm going, oh, my God, I felt like I was 2 feet tall. But Lynda was in great shape then. I mean, she was, all the other guys doing the leg raise and sit up. She's just going to town. And other guys are moaning and groaning. And, but she was really doing it. Yeah. And we just kept talking to one another and helping her. I was helping her out to get her next belt for testing. That's how it came about. Kept talking to one another.
So when are you going to write the book about being a JKD power couple?
Oh, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Once in a while, we're going to write a book on JKD power couple.
Right. Because
it's not a bad idea.
No, not at all. Hey, not at all.
Teenagers?
Yeah, we were teenagers at that time. Yeah.
Wow.
18, 19.
19, 17.
Oh my God.
We were young back then.
Yeah. Whose idea was it to take those photographs that are in the album? Yours or hers?
Oh, mine. Right.
Okay.
I had leftover film and an Instamatic camera. I says, let's just take this for fun. Never thought it'd be on Facebook or anything.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's what you and I were talking about. 30 years ago, you and I didn't think, oh yeah, one day we're going to interview each other on Facebook. I mean, come on, right?
Sure.
Okay, so we met in '87 and '88. That was Dan Timlin's thing, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay, so you never went to CMAA.
CMMA? No. Whatever that is.
Oh, that was California Martial Arts Academy.
No, not at that time.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, by '87, they had stopped running that. Their last year was '85, right? And then '86, Vic Payne started Smoky Mountain. Did you go to Smoky Mountain?
No, I never did that.
Okay. So we have that in common then, right?
Yeah, I didn't because Lynda and I were both working jobs and stuff.
Yeah.
And so we only had so much vacation time.
Okay.
So we did the Michigan camp at the
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
And our first time we met Guru Dan, that was in 1985, March of 1985.
Mm-hmm.
It was, we were black belts already in another system. And we go there and we're glad we weren't wearing black belts because after seeing all that stuff, the single stick, the double stick, stick and dagger, this was an 8-hour-a-day seminar. Not like he has 5 hours now.
Right.
And it was with Larry Hartzell as well.
Okay.
And Chris Kent. Chris Kent was also assisting. So that's how we met all of them.
Was that in Chicago?
And no, that was in Lansing. Dan Timlin
At
had
Timlin's again. Okay.
that. Yep.
Wait,
Timlin.
you know what? I remember it as being October of 1985 was when I was brought into the instructorship program, but I wonder if it was then. Was Don Guerin there? Do you remember?
He wasn't, I don't think he was there in 85.
Okay.
He might have been in another one later on
yeah.
in 86, 87.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. See, some people are going to be wondering, these two old farts, who are all these people they're talking about?
That's true. Talking about Don Guerin.
Yeah.
Right. Old farts.
Yeah. So that actually was something I wanted to touch on. So you said the two of you didn't have, that much vacation time because you were both working. You are, for me, literally the epitome of old school. You were you worked for Ford Motor Company in Michigan.
Correct.
Did Lynda work for Ford Motor also?
She did off and on.
Okay.
For a while, she was with computer programming.
Right.
And then she got laid off. And so she ended up going to a few other jobs and then ended up doing, I think it was a healthcare company, CSC.
Okay.
And then she retired after that.
Right. And you were, wait, let me make sure I got it. Let me make sure I got it here. You were product engineer, right? And training coordinator. And she was computer programmer and analyst. Correct. You must tell me how you took all of that and applied it to martial arts.
Oh, geez. Logistics, I guess you'd call it. I tell you what really came in handy was my last 5 years working at Ford because I was in the training program, or I should say the training group. So we were teaching teachers how to teach. And how to set up programs and how to set up courses and classes and stuff.
Yes.
And in that training that I went through to do all this stuff, I had facilitator training. So I had to learn how to facilitate meetings, which really comes in handy when you're working with people.
Yes.
And how to work with people, of course. Right. Meeting them where they're at, take them where you want them to go, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And how to change. Should people change? What do you need to do to make a change? And of course, in martial arts, you need to do the same thing.
Yes.
So we had an empirical formula, which was, if you want change, that has to be equal to a function of some dissatisfaction times a very clear vision where you want to be, times the first steps to get there.
Yes.
And all that has to be greater than your resistance to change.
Yes. Oh my God.
So obviously, and that's also for teamwork too. If the whole team doesn't have a clear vision of where they're going, That's a zero. Anything times zero is
That's
zero.
classic. That's classic.
You won't change.
That explains why so many people love you. I swear. When people heard, right, that you guys were coming on, I got all these good wishes, right? It was like, I swear,
good wishes.
it was among the most positive energy that I've gotten in advance.
Positive energy you got in advance.
Right? In advance of one of these programs. But it makes sense. Everything that you just said there, that's what makes you a wonderful instructor.
Thank you.
Now, I remember the first time I saw you, I go, this guy is definitely a computer nerd. Right? I remember thinking that, right? And then I forget when it was. When did you come up with the name Attributive Martial Art?
We came up with the name Attributive Martial Arts when probably probably around 1995. We decided to make it an actual business out of it.
Right. Yeah.
And we picked Attributive Martial Arts because we were struggling for a time. What do we call this? And we have all these different, should I call it Muay Thai or Salat or, so we thought, wait a minute, what are all these arts teaching us? They're really teaching us attributes.
Yes.
So we just says Attributive Martial Arts.
Okay.
And we just use all these different arts to develop your attributes.
Okay. So when I remember when I saw that, I thought, I wonder if Vunak's emphasis on attributes had anything to do with that.
Yes, it did, because I watched his tapes and I saw he talked about it. He had an attribute tape. And I thought, for crying out loud, that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah. So among your biggest fans, of course, are JJ Dallo and Nick Cavallino, right? And Nick has adaptive martial arts. Right?
Yes.
And I remember I thought to myself, what if somebody had gone through what I call the 4 tenets of Jeet Kune Do, right? And so somebody decided to come up with researchive martial arts. Right? And then, right? And then
So somebody might come up with research.
Right? And then absorptive.
Absorptive?
Right?
Absorptive. Huh?
Yeah, right? Then rejective martial.
Rejective? Oh, God. Now, that would be, I think, a little too much on the negative side.
And then the last one would be additive.
Additive?
Yeah. Because you cornered it. You got the best one, right? You got the best one. So, so we've got research your own experience, absorb what is useful, reject what is useless, but you got the best one. So, I would be left with rejective martial arts.
Oh, geez.
Right?
It could go another way,
Yeah.
People might reject you. You don't want that.
Right. So here's the thing. Last night, a bunch of my students made fun of my email address. Well, one of my email addresses, right? Which is at AOL.com. I noticed that yours has been amarks at sbcglobal.net for decades, hasn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
It has.
What the heck is SBC Global?
Oh, that just so happens to be the company we're working with. AT&T, part of AT&T, the early part of AT&T. They used to call it SBC Global. Now it's changed over to AT&T, but we still have the same address. They hadn't changed ours, so we left it at that.
So then, all right. Well, again, epitome of old school, like I said, right? What do you make? Okay, I'm gonna jump to some. I was gonna save this for later, but I'm gonna jump to it now.
Okay. Being
old school, what do you make now of, let's call it current JKD issues, right? So right now, on some other pages, Chris Kent's page in particular, on Facebook, we're talking about adding the Jeet Kune Do sets, and the Ung form, right? We're talking about the use of belts and uniforms. So as an old school guy, what's your take on these current modern day JKD issues? Anything?
I don't think it's a big issue. I think if you have a big group, and sometimes you have so many students, and they like to know where they're at, and it's easy to tell where level they're at by having a belt, or it could be the shirts, or some people just use a little flap thing on there with different colors. So I think it's okay. I don't think nothing wrong with it. I know Guru Dan mentions that he's doing belts at his school, and but I think, again, it's more of an incentive thing. The belts help that way. We don't use belts right now, and because we don't have that huge a group.
Yeah.
But I have certificates. I give them certificates so they know what level they're at.
Right.
Same thing with the Blintwalk system. They didn't have certificates either, or ranking. But I came up with a ranking just so you know where you're at in the system.
Yeah.
That's all. But and I think what happens, and you mentioned this some time ago in one of your dialogues about why isn't JKD more popular? And I thought about that, and I thought, you talk about, how C.J. Bruce talked about JKD is like water. You pour it in a cup, comes a cup, teapot, it's the teapot. Well, to me, JKD is like water because people can't grasp the idea of what JKD is. It goes right through their hands. They can feel it, they can see it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But they can't grasp it. Not like a solid system, like BJJ, for instance. That's like a solid rod. You can grab that. You know what to do with it. JKD, they can't grasp it. And what you really got to do with JKD is sort of act like a cup and collect the information and then take it inside you. And of course, your body's going to use what's useful and reject what's useless, right?
Yeah.
And every day you have to do that, right? You have to have water every day. So you're constantly learning all the time.
Yeah.
And that's how I look as JKD, being more like water, hard to grasp, but you can collect the information.
And that's why I love having people like you on my show. You see, because that is a wonderful analogy that you just put out there, right? So is Balintawak a system that you can grasp?
Yes, but it's a little hard to grasp, at least the way I was taught it.
Okay.
There's no set patterns in what you're learning. They do for the fundamentals. The fundamentals do.
Yeah.
But after that, it just becomes what he called carreras, which is more of a mixing bowl that Nung Ted used to tell me.
Okay.
And it's a impact system, a hard impact system. Yeah. He said, Nung Ted would say to me, Dave, we are not slicing a tree, we're chopping the tree down. And I thought, it gave me a better feel for what the system is like.
Yeah.
And it was a little hard to learn it at first because it's not like all the other stuff we did. There's no twirling other than to twirl to escape a hand monitor or something. But, and when we started to get more advanced in it, because I've been with Nung Ted, 10, 11 years.
Oh, I can tell you.
With him before he had his choke.
I can tell you, in 1995, you started one-on-one in Balintawak.
Right.
Yes.
Right. That was a traditional thing too. I had to go see him one-on-one, have an interview.
Oh, really?
And
wow.
Yeah, and before he'd accept me.
Now, what
I had brought Lynda.
What brought that on? Your pursuit of Balintawak?
Well, one day I'm picking up Guru Dan from the airport, and he knew I wanted to have private lessons with him, but he wasn't having them. He didn't have them that much back then. So he says, Dave, and we're driving away from the airport. He says, Dave, I want you to train with Ted Bullitt. And I thought, oh, okay. The next time I come out to California, because I didn't know who Ted Bullitt was.
Yeah.
And he says, no, he's local. I says, where? And he says, he's in the Detroit area. I said, oh, you have a phone number or, address? He says, no, you'll find him. I said, and he says, it's going to be in Balintawak. It'll enhance your stick training.
Yeah.
I said, what? Balinta what? I didn't know what the heck it was.
Yeah.
And so he said, no, go search. So I searched and searched, couldn't find him until one of my students, Chris Melgeri, was taking a Japanese class, and he met a guy in the class who was Ted Bullitt's student. And then the connection was made there, and then I went to see him.
Yeah.
So, and the art was really different.
Yeah.
But he really emphasized a lot of hip. And you can see now in seminars, Guru Dan's really looking at people to use their hips more when doing the techniques, even if it's double stick.
Right.
Yeah. And there's a lot, it's more like Wing Chun with a stick, just about.
Okay.
There's a lot of hand trapping.
Right. Yes.
And there's 3 major functions with the left hand: to monitor,
Uh-huh.
manage, and delay your opponent's stick.
Okay.
You know, and that's besides punching and hitting and
Right.
pushing and everything else.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it difficult.
Yeah.
You'll have a hard time with that.
Okay. The thing that I know, so I was actually in setting this up, right? I made a column of your biography and then a column of Lynda's biography.
My biography and your biography in a column.
And then I put them next to each other. So then I'm going, right, checking to see everything that's the same and everything that's different, right? So, how come? Let's see. Where's here? So here's the. Oh, you know what? Let's go back. You both started the Japanese karate in '69,
Correct.
right? And you got your black belt, I think, in '75. She got her black belt in '77,
Correct.
right? And
Black belt.
right, and she won the brown belt tournament and what have you.
Yeah, and you brown the brown belt too.
Obviously, she's tougher than you because you never won any tournaments.
I always missed by 1 point. So you're tougher than me because you won tournament, I didn't win.
Right? But then there's like the 7 or 10 year gap, and then it jumps to Dan Inosanto. What brought that on?
What happened was we had our black belts, and we'd still train with some of the people, but the school closed down.
Okay.
And the instructor spread out. Our main instructor, Larry Malo, became pretty successful at it and went on his way out. And yes, after Bruce Lee died and stuff, that's when the school closed down. And yeah, so Lynn and I would still train in our basement. And at work, where I was working, we met a man. His name was Dean. And his last name was Cruikshank.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the father of Darren Cruikshank, who's an MMA fighter. Yeah. And that was before Darren was born, of course. But we'd work out together all the time.
Okay.
You know, because he liked the way we moved and everything. Right. And so we got together real well. And he came to my house one day. He says, "Look, Black Belt Magazine. Look, Dan Inosanto's coming to Michigan. He's going to be in Lansing." You know. Yeah. And he says, "Oh my God, way over in Lansing." And that's a lot of drive. You know? So we get together, and a couple of his students, Lynda and I, we go over there. We get a hotel and stayed overnight, and we walk into the seminar, and I met Dan Timlin.
Yeah.
And I said, "Could you talk to Dan Inosanto and see if we can sit right up front, so Lynda could try to read his lips and if he could slow down?" Mm-hmm. And he said, "Well, you can go talk to him." I said, "Well, I don't know. I see these pictures of him, and he looks so mean." I don't know. I said, no, go ahead. So I talked to Guru, and he was really nice. He said, yeah, sure, sit down here. I'll try, you know. Yeah. And so he just blew our minds with everything he did. We're sitting there going, "Oh my God, look how much we don't know."
Right.
And it was like, geez.
Yeah.
But we were really impressed.
Right. But here's the thing. 34 years later, if the 3 of us were in LA right now, he'd still blow our minds.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Even at his age, he's still, and he was at our seminar. We just had him last weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his shoulder, he calls it a frozen shoulder. He couldn't lift his arm up, but he was still doing stuff with his elbow down, you know. He had all of us instructors go up there to do things, to demonstrate most of it. Mm-hmm. But if sometimes he saw it wasn't right, he got in there and started doing it. And it was just amazing how smooth he was moving.
Yeah.
He'd call us up and say, "These are my older students." But he says, "They're still functional."
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I thought, wow. I said, that's neat to hear.
He does it. He says, "Well, here's Dwight. One time Dwight was one of my youngest students. Now he's one of my oldest students."
Yes.
Yeah. So I told you earlier, I ran out of room on the postcard that I made for today's dialogue because there was no way.
Postcards.
There was no way that I could put everybody that you're certified
Couldn't
under.
put all the instructors.
Right? So
Mhm.
I'm gonna break them down, and you give me the origin story. Okay.
Okay.
So 1990 in Thai boxing with Ajahn Chai.
Yes.
Okay.
We came into him when we went to see Guru Dan in Chicago.
Okay.
And that's when it was both Guru Dan and Ajahn Chai.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, this was at Degerberg's
Mm-hmm.
club
Mm-hmm.
upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And with Guru Dan, it was packed. It was hardly any room to do anything. When it was time for Ajahn Chai, boom, a lot of people. I think about, well, almost a little over half were left.
Really?
And but we were used to working out hard because
Yeah.
the karate judo school's room was very hardcore fighting system.
Okay.
So we were used to that,
Yeah.
you know. But it was different. It was still different because you're
Mhm.
hitting pads now all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a hard workout. It was
Mhm.
really tough. But we liked it, although I was hesitant to want to test in it. I'd still go into the seminars with it and train.
Mm-hmm.
And Lynn and I, we saw people getting hurt pretty bad in some of these tests. We
Yeah.
thought, I don't know if we want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had our full-time jobs, and we don't want to be injured and walking in crippled into work. so what happened as years went on, Guru Dan, remember he had a requirement that all instructors had to take the Muay Thai test.
Yes.
Well, Ajahn Chai wasn't too keen on that, so Guru Dan dropped it, but he still wanted people to do so.
Mm-hmm.
So when I would be at I went to the New York camp, and Guru Dan would come up to me and say, Dave, you should take the Muay Thai test. You know, it'd be good that you take it. You know, he wouldn't pressure, just, you know, nice and easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say, well, I'll think about it. I see him again. He'd say, Dave, just think about it. You'd be the first person over 40 to take the test. You know, just think about that.
Yeah.
And after a few nudging like that, I decided, you know what? I'll just go ahead and take the test.
Yeah.
Because my student Chris is taking it, so we took it together.
Oh, okay. Wonderful.
And we both trained together and we got out there.
Wonderful.
And then the next year, Lynda took the test.
Yes.
And Chris and I came up with these methods to train for the Muay Thai so that we won't get hurt. You know, hit, get out, only
Okay.
do 2 or 3 kicks and back out instead of standing there and getting clobbered. You know. And we do ways.
Geez, was
you know,
Chris an engineer too?
No, he was just, he didn't want to get hurt either.
Okay.
So we thought of ways to, because you know how hard it is to try to grab somebody's neck and they won't let you grab it. So we would fake the kick to get in there
Mm-hmm.
and get the neck. And
Mm-hmm.
we taught that to Lynda, and Lynda had the guy named Oscar out of Ohio. That was her feeder, her first feeder.
Okay.
And boy, he's a tough guy.
Yeah.
And Lynda faked him. She faked him. She got on his head and was doing the knees, and he couldn't get her off because she was doing it properly. She's holding the head
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
And he couldn't get it. He lifted her up and threw her into the crowd. You know?
Oh,
And but Lynda got right back up, ready to go.
yeah.
And then Ajahn says, "That's it. No more knees."
Right. Who was her second feeder? Do you remember?
It was another woman. You remember the name of the second feeder?
Tanya,
Was it
Tanya.
Tanya? She was a tall black woman, husky, and she knocked Lynda down one time, but Lynda got right back up, and
Yeah.
she went right into there again.
I know.
Tanya, okay.
Yeah. I don't know if
I know.
if I remember her. Okay. Let's see. Now, 1993. Now you started earlier with Larry Hartzell, but 93 is when you went into the instructor program.
With Larry Hartzell, right?
Yes.
Because he didn't have one before that. He
Okay.
didn't have an instructor program before that.
Okay.
So we still went to his seminars. Keith Latosky out of Indiana was bringing them out, so we'd go there to
Mhm.
those seminars.
Mm-hmm.
And it was nice because Larry sometimes, Larry had a way of slowing things down a little bit so you
Yeah.
can catch up what you saw Guru Dan do. So we were able to catch up and follow what was going on.
Yeah.
It was tough for Lynda and I doing seminars at first
Mhm.
because back then Guru would show like 8 things to do, you know, and he'd also show what not to do.
Right.
And so, of course, Lynda's visual. She's watching and she sees what not to do. So we get our 3 minutes to work on stuff.
Yeah.
And Lynda's doing what we're not supposed to do. And I had to stop it and say, okay, no, we got to do it this way.
Yeah.
Time's out. So for 1 year, or 8 months to a year, some of the things, almost 2 years, that I went without Lynda to seminars.
Okay.
And then I would take the notes and everything, come back home, show her, and then bring her to the seminars. So the best way we did the seminars is write the notes the best we could, go back to the hotel room and videotape ourselves doing it. The best we can remember.
Yes.
And that helped a lot.
Yeah.
That helped a whole lot.
Yeah.
At that time.
Interesting. Are there any other, as far as you know, unique approaches that you've developed over the years for the learning or maybe even for the teaching of all of our stuff?
Well, the trying to take good notes and good shorthand is the key thing to do, because it's hard, especially the grappling part. The grappling is really hard.
Yeah.
But back then in the 90s, we were able to take pictures.
Yes.
So I could take a picture in some of the sequences, like the shoot wrestling combo.
Yes.
I couldn't do all of them. I'd do every other one. Then the next seminar, I'd take the other pictures. So I had the whole list of how to do it.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is, as soon as you get your notes, rewrite the notes. That way you remember it better. And still go to seminars, because maybe you might still have missed something.
Yeah.
And it does happen.
Yeah.
You miss something. Oh my God, we gotta, but it was nice, because when you get back to the seminar, you go, oh wow, look at this, I missed that. But that's how you learn.
Did this ever happen to you, where you write out what the finishing technique was, but you had no memory?
Yeah, can't remember. How did you get it? I had that a lot with Balintoak, was like that. I learned the particular move I was supposed to do, and I forgot, how do we get into this?
Yeah.
So when I go back for my next lesson, I'd say, Ted, how do we start this?
Okay. All right.
It's funny.
So I'm going to give you my system, right? And then you have to grade me as an engineer. So my
system.
My system was this. I would write, let's say, jab cross versus catch, parry, to whatever. So that I had the attack, I had the response, and the follow-up. So by using the conjunctions versus and to, I knew who started, who responded, and who followed on.
That's not bad.
Okay.
That's pretty good. The way I did it, I would put Y for me, O either at the top or bottom for the opponent. And when the opponent did something, right above that, that's what I'm supposed to do. And if I'm supposed to do something, that's what the opponent's supposed to do. So it was in a diagram portion.
Yes, of course.
And that worked out real well.
Of course, the engineer at work.
Engineer at work.
Right. Okay. 1994 is when you started with Edgar Sulite, Francis Fong, and Yuri Nakamura. Was that at seminar also?
Yes, those are all seminars.
Okay.
And we started to bring Sifu Francis out here too. So we have more private lessons with an extremely good form. You think if you have speed, you lose your form, but not with Sifu Francis. And Guru Dan even says his hand speed is just about equal to Bruce Lee's. And so you get a feel for how fast that is. But he was so good, so accurate. We really enjoy. I still like going with him. He had me do a workshop at his school one time in Balintoak, and the similarities of the Jop Sao is the same thing we do when we strike, and the Hun Sao or the Hun Sao that we do, that's what we call in Balintoak a curl, curling your hand around, and curling's used a lot with knife work. When you're going with a knife, you curl around the knife. So in other words, if this guy's trying to block my knife off, I just curl around it and go back in. And I learned that from Rick Fay too. So.
Oh, I noticed something about that. In your credentials, there's nothing about certified in MKG, but Lynda is. Do you need to correct your
maybe
website?
I missed something. Yeah, we both have certified. In MKG,
I think I unless I missed it, but that struck me. Let me see. I got it printed out here.
Oh, I could have missed it.
Yeah, I think you did. And then you are a white glove and instructor level in boxe française, but there's nothing for her.
No, there should have been. Something must have messed up. She was 1 level or 2 levels below me.
Okay.
And we didn't continue from there. But I got to update that.
You got to get to that website, son.
Got to update the website about some other stuff in MKG. Yes, that's right.
Now, 1996 in Mandemuda with Pendekar Hermes. Yeah.
That was a beautiful time to be with him.
Yeah.
We first met him. Well, actually, I was asking Guru what to do for Silat. And he says, well, if you're learning the Costa system, you're learning Silat. But I said, no, Silat. You know, the stuff you've been showing, you know? Like the Bhuti Nagara and stuff.
Yeah.
So Guru says, well, you can either go to Penacrapal Tours or go to Herman Swanda. But he says, you know, Herman Swanda's got so many jurus, you know. And I thought about it, and I've been to a few seminars with Penacrapal. Of course, he was there at the 88 camp. You know, that's how we first met him. And and understanding the lines, the triangles were the key. You know, the triangles on the floor, plus your body being two triangles at least. And understanding that was so key. And
was that easy for you with your background?
Yes, the engineering aspect of it. You look at the triangles and pyramids and stuff. It was like, wow, you know, there it is.
Oh, so then with Kali, when you got introduced to Kali, you must have freaked out over that too, right?
Yeah, lateral triangle, you know, and female, male triangle, all at the hourglass. Oh yeah, it was great. It was easy to follow, and I love doing footwork because I love to move. You know?
Okay.
And so yeah, that was easy. But when Herman Swanda, he didn't explain things like that in triangles. He just did the stuff. He just did the techniques. But because of the background I had with both Guru Dan and Penacrapal Tours, I could see where the angles were. I see where he was pulling the guy down, where he was twisting him and sweeping him and everything else. And it was just great. Working with him was fantastic. We went through his instructor program called Jagabaya, and before he passed away. And we had the last seminar in the United States with him before he went to Europe, and he was in that car crash.
Oh my God, really?
And you know, the strangest part was he was a little leery about going. And I thought, wow, this is strange. Yeah, and he was showing us so many techniques and stuff. And I thought, something's funny, you know, just the feeling about it, you know. But he was good. He had that ability. You've heard Guru Dan talk about touching the neck and pass out. Well, I heard from his second wife, they were at a construction site, and he's driving up there, and some guy gets mad because they have to stop and Paul blows the horn. Guy comes walking out, you know, real mad. Paul just gets out there, looks at the guy, and touches him on the neck, and the guy passed down on the street. I thought, boy. So after he was going to come back from Europe, we were going to work with him, and he was going to teach us some of that stuff. And then we were going to go to the Arnold Classic and, you know, demonstrate Mandi Muda and stuff. But didn't happen, you know.
Yeah. Did you go out to the Arnold Classic at all?
Well, no, I didn't go there to demo or anything. No, we didn't.
Okay. Okay. So your instructorship certificate, I mean, it seems as if you kind of just followed in a way what Sifu Inosanto was doing, train with these guys and become certified by them. Right?
Yes.
Okay. I mean,
I figured, well, why not? You know, I mean, if the material's there, you can learn from them. It's good to learn it. And it was good because it did help a lot.
Yeah. Well, so one of the discussions, the ongoing discussions out there in the world is about, well, okay, let me put it this way. When the whole original versus concepts argument started, what did you think? Because you're a smarter guy than most people. First of all, I thought it was kind of silly. You know, and in a way, I guess I could see it because some people think, well, let's just do what Bruce taught. Why are we doing all this other stuff? But Guru really explained it to me and showed me some of the writings that Bruce had, that he didn't want you to be stuck in one thing. He wanted you to explore, you know, like we said, the water, right? You got to keep gathering information. And that's what it's about, really. We had an instructor conference one time where everybody was talking about just that, the original versus, you know, concept. And we all agreed that, or most of us agreed that it's just, we got to educate the public, help them understand what is JKD, you know, and get a feel for it and how it is different for everybody. And you can't just contain it and box it, you know, it has to expand. You're still going to use the fundamentals. Guru really pointed out that he said, Jun Fan Gung Fu, that's your original JKD, period. You know? And he's right, that's the basics.
you know, kicking, punching, trapping, grappling. You've got to go through that. And he had a good talk somewhere on YouTube. I made it a link on my website.
Yeah,
because
I did see it, yes.
And it was so good about how he explains JKD. Somebody may say, yeah, I've got taekwondo here, I've got a little bit of grappling here, and I did a little bit of Wing Chun there. So is that not JKD? And Bruce says, well, it's their JKD, but it's not what Bruce Lee was looking for,
right,
in the JKD world.
Yeah. So if somebody asked you to explain, like, so because this is one of the discussions, this whole and mix in different techniques and what have you is not Jeet Kune Do. So what would your explanation then be for somebody who broaches that topic?
What I do is I say, okay, look, you want to learn JKD. You're going to have to learn the Jun Fan Gung Fu first. That's the basis. The JKD ends up being your expansion from those basics. Once you get those basics down, now we can look at other things to work on. It doesn't matter where you pick it up, because some of the arts are just the training methods we use. You know, how many of us can really fight Muay Thai, you know, in the street, or not in the street, but, you know, really work out on it? So you'd use that as a training method, because some people aren't going to be able to, you know, go into competition or anything, and they still want to learn JKD. So to me, JKD fundamentals are Jun Fan Gung Fu, and there you start to expand from there. And that's exactly how I see it happening, and that's how I see Guru Dan doing it. It's exactly what he's doing. He's following exactly what Bruce Lee wanted him to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, she says nothing's rigid. It's always going to evolve. I mean, Guru says, well, you're not going to do the same battle plan you did as George Washington as you do in the modern day fighting. However, some principles still remain the same. You're still using projectile, whether it's a bullet or a cannon, you're still using bullets. You know, we haven't gotten away from bullets yet. No laser guns yet. But it's still a projectile, right?
Yes.
So you're still going to use that. They may improve on it, make it bigger, make them faster, you know, but it's still a projectile.
So I hope that a lot of people, a lot of you out there who are watching this, whether it's live with us now or later on, I like to hang out with people who are smarter than I am, which is what I'm doing right now. I hope you people know this. Okay. David Hatch just said, a lot of those other arts that we do are training methods. I use that exact language. Okay.
So use the exact language for training methods.
Like 2 weeks ago. So I hope everybody realizes that I'm sort of smart too.
Yeah, a lot of our philosophy that we're using, Lynda brought up that is from a guy named Jim Rohn, who's really just a businessman. Yes. But his principles fit so well into everything, everyday life. I mean, he has this thing about being a good speaker and communication skills. And he says words are so important. You know, words help paint the pictures in your mind. And then he uses the word emotional content. And I thought, my God, isn't that what Bruce Lee talked about? He says, what makes the words effective? Emotional content. But your emotions need to go to school. You know, you don't want to shoot a cannon at a rabbit if you're going for food, right? Because you have no more rabbit. So you got to know how to pinpoint those emotions. You know, when do I put on the firepower, when do I don't? So I take that and I say, well, words are techniques. And you get all these techniques that you're learning to help you understand the system. But what makes them effective is the emotional content behind those techniques.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
All right. I'm going to try to raise myself in your estimation again. I met Jim Rohn.
Oh, did you? Yeah, I did too. Back in '86, I was. Yeah, nice guy.
Yeah. I mean, I met him 2006, 2007. You know, I was at a conference that he appeared at, and so you have a bunch of his training programs and what have you.
Yeah, a lot of his stuff, mostly from the mid to late '80s, because I actually went to his workshop in California, and worked with him. Very good, very good. All this stuff is just so good.
Yeah.
You know, this thing about emotional content, that was something before I got my black belt in the karate system, my instructor kept saying, Dave, you got to get meaner. You got to be meaner. Now, see, mean didn't relate to me. I don't mean father. I says, I don't like that, you know.
Right.
So I saw Enter the Dragon. And what does he tell his kid? You know, he said, use emotional content with a kick. So the kid makes this mean face, and I said, there it is, got to be mean. So he does the kick, and what does Bruce Lee? Slap him in the head. I said emotional content, not anger. And boom, a light bulb went off in my head.
Yeah.
You don't have to be angry. You don't have to be mad or mean. Yeah. It's just the emotion, that good feeling about doing something.
But isn't that exactly what Jim Rohn said, that your instructor would have benefited from? Words matter.
Yes.
You know, if your instructor had better words
to
describe, that's sweet. Yeah, that's classic. Rick Fay said to me once that he was more of a Dan Inosanto fan than a Bruce Lee fan, right? Would you say it's similar for you?
I think that might be because of Bruce Lee's attitude he had. You know, he was kind of cocky and stuff, and some people didn't like that. You know, Guru Dan's not like that. But to me, I only looked at Bruce Lee as a martial artist. You know, and that's what got me going. And his ability to have timing and speed and all of that coordination, all of that mixed together. You know,
you mean the attributes?
Oh yes, the attributes. Right. Attributes. Yeah. So it was all there, all packaged in one, you know.
Yeah.
And that makes you think. So when you're working out, you know, there's this talk about the repetition is the mother of skill. That's good. But the repetition with the intent of improving each time you do your repetition is what's going to make you exceptional. And that's, you know, what's usually missing in people. They just repeat something over and over and they don't try to improve on it.
Yeah.
And so when you look at Bruce Lee, you're seeing, wow, he's got this. I'm missing some of these things. That's what I need to work on.
Is that similar then to the, you know, where the original saying was practice makes perfect, but then the amended is perfect practice makes perfect?
Yeah, actually, this one problem solving class or concern analysis class I had back when I was at work, he said, practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. So whatever you practice, it becomes a permanent engraved in your muscle memory, so to speak.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So besides Jim Rohn, right, who was, if I remember correctly, Jim Rohn was, let's say his start was as a salesman or a sales trainer or what have you. And then that kind of evolved into, I guess we could say, personal development. Right. Are there any other people from like his era that you followed in that personal development field?
He was the main one. Another one was Dennis Waitley was one. And I think I heard him before Jim Rohn. And I liked what he had because he really stressed this point about saying something that you don't want the person to do. In other words, the example he gave was there's this baseball game, some big championship game. Bases loaded, the pitcher is 2 outs, and it's time, you know, the coach goes up to the pitcher and says, don't pitch high outside. So the coach leaves, and the pitcher's thinking high outside. What does he do? He pitches high outside. And then they lose the game. So if you're gonna, instead of telling people, you know, quit dropping your hands, you know, tell them keep your hands up, keep your hands up. Use that verbiage instead. So that's the image they have in their mind. You know. And again, we're talking about words. Type of words.
Right. Yeah. So so for those of you who are, you know, of a different era, we're talking about Jim Rohn and Dennis Waitley, right? Because, you know, do you know if for, what do they call them, the millennials or the Gen Z or whatever the heck they are, right? Do they have people like that they can turn to from this era? Do you know?
Geez, I don't know. I know Jim Rohn has a website and they still promote his tapes and stuff. You know, that's still going on. But anybody else, I don't know if there's anybody that's for millennials right now.
Yeah. You see, I find it interesting because to me, that can be compared with Jeet Kune Do.
Yes.
Because you've got, we've got the different, we've got the different Jeet Kune Do eras.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Would you say that, how should I put this? Because we talked a little bit about the issues and what have you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chris Kent said on the program maybe about a year ago that Jeet Kune Do is a thing that has, it's an art that has an identity crisis, right? Now, do you have a solution for all this?
Oh, jeez. That is tough.
Yeah.
You mostly have to guide that person into it.
Yeah.
Help them understand that here's what you're going to learn as a technique or whatever. And then here's how we'll enhance that. And when we enhance it, now you're starting to understand what JKD is. Because, people, they have a rough time trying, and that's what the identity is. How do remember I said it's water. They can't grasp the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we just tell them, just collect what we show you, work on that, internalize it, keep working on it. And eventually you're going to say, hey, I can make some improvements here. How about this? And when a student comes up to me after he's practiced enough times and he says, well, what else can I do with this? See, now there's your first step towards going into the JKD philosophy, because they're starting to expand their thinking a little more. And that, I think, is a great path to follow.
Is that then what makes Jeet Kune Do also a science? Is that what?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I try to, I don't push it on the students, but I try to help them understand some physics.
Yeah, no, push it on them, man. Push it on them. They need somebody to push them.
Yeah, squash their face. I want them to understand some basic physics, like force equals mass times acceleration. So if you can accelerate your mass, whatever weight you are, you're going to have some force at impact. And it's important to understand that. And pressure too, because pressure is, force divided by the area. So if you're hitting with the two knuckles versus the whole flat of the fist, there's going to be a difference in the amount of pressure the person feels. Same with the finger thrust, obviously.
Okay. All right. I just found it's down at the bottom. No, wait, actually, yes. I just found your Minnesota Kali group listing. So you're okay. But there's nothing on her column for Savat. So you still have to fix. You still have to fix stuff.
You don't have anything in your column about Savat.
You did some work.
It could be she didn't want me to put it on. I don't.
No, okay.
Yeah, so she had a little bit.
Okay. You did some work also with National Guard troops.
Yes.
Yeah. What was that like? I mean, it was a couple of decades ago, but what are your memories of that?
That was interesting because a lot of them.
How did it come about in the first place?
Chris Jerry had a connection with some people out there on the east side of Detroit, and so he says, "Well, we got a chance to work with these people, so I said, well, let's go do it." And we did, and a lot of them found it pretty strange. They didn't understand how to maneuver people, or it was the National Guard mainly, and they didn't know what to do. They didn't even know how to handle people. So we had to show them simple stuff, simple things to work on. We demonstrated what Kali was like and how to use it. And because they had the baton, so we had to show them some things baton-wise, how to hold it two hands and how you can deflect and push people away and things, which a lot of that we learned from Dr. G. Yeah. And that was good too. So, because you got to understand, they can't grasp a whole lot. They can only take so much, so you just show them little things to help them out and prove what they already know. Yeah. It's the best you can do.
Yeah. Have you trained anybody else in military law enforcement?
There have been some of them usually don't want to identify themselves because, but they do come down to train and they like to learn some of the stuff, especially the stuff they know they can't use in the street or on the street with their job, but they'd still want to know, what do I do if this guy does come at me? How do I handle it? So, I show them that stuff.
Yeah, I saw on the I guess on the website and Facebook, pictures of you guys. What was it? 2016 in Japan with the MKG group, right?
Yes.
Where else in the world has your training taken you?
Well, this is with the MKG group. We were in Spain. We're out there one
Okay.
time teaching out there. That was exciting. Rick Fay had me teach them some of the Balintawak there too at the time.
Okay. Yeah.
And so we really haven't gone much farther out here in the United States. I was going to think, well, with the Balintawak, because I made the DVDs and they started going
Yes.
out around the place.
Yeah. Yeah.
When we were in Washington, D.C. with a group of people, different lineages of Balintawak, we had the German guys come up to us and say, "Oh, we love your DVDs." It says, "You do it nice and slow. It's easy for us to follow and everything." And I'm going, "Wow, good."
Yeah.
Because most demos you see are so fast, people can't pick out what the heck you're doing.
Right. Yeah. That's why I know nothing about it, because I've just been on the receiving end of Inosanto.
Yeah. Right. I feel kind of sorry for Guru because he's trying to learn from Tilio, and then now he's learning from Nenny. And he said, "I'm getting confused, Dave." But he's got my DVDs and he keeps watching them,
Right. Yeah.
So waiting for the time he says, "Dave, let's try something."
Yeah. What about comparing and contrasting other Filipino systems with the Balintawak?
It is different.
Okay.
You can blend what we learn in Balintawak into the other Filipino systems.
Yeah.
A lot of systems will use drills, right? And it's good. I think drills are good. But what we were learning in Balintawak was try to end the situation quickly. And we can still flow with it.
Yeah, got it.
But you know how we got to do sombrada and we got to do the roof block, so we push the hand away as we're hidden. So then I let go so they can block and continue the drill. Balintawak would be, if I went, we don't do roof blocks, but let's say if I did do that with Balintawak, I'm going to hold you here and I'm going to throw at you.
Right.
You have to figure out how to get out of that. That's how
see.
Balintawak is. That's
I
how we
see.
learned it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. Okay, I had one last thing for you. Are you like the godfather of Jeet Kune Do and Filipino martial arts in the area of Michigan? Because we mentioned Chris, we mentioned Nick, we mentioned JJ, right? I told you about everybody who is like, oh, I can't wait to see the two of them, right? So are you like the godfather or something?
Well, I hate to think of it like that, but he's like the godfather of JKD Michigan. People do come to me, and they're asking, "Can you solve this? Can you do that?" And so I do have to. Guru and I had a talk about that when he was here, because he asked me about certain people and stuff, and I told him I'm trying to balance things out the best I can, and
Right.
And he told me the experiences he's had, and
Exactly.
to let me know, don't worry, just keep doing what you're doing,
Yeah.
and keep it up.
Yeah.
So, because some people, I don't know, personality clashes, who knows, whatever it may be.
Right.
And maybe they don't like the way I teach, or they don't like my rules, or who knows, whatever it could be,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But I try to help them out, the best I can. Even if I got to talk to them separately, I'll do that.
So Sean Kitzman says I was right. You are the godfather of JKD and FMA in Michigan.
He's right. I'm the godfather.
Yeah. And he was actually, it was Sean. Sometimes I get all the names mixed up, right?
Sure.
Because of like a letter, but I'm pretty sure Sean Kitzman and Kurt Cornwell.
Oh yeah.
Right. They were like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see the two of them. Right. I'm pretty sure. Right.
Yes.
Okay. So listen, I appreciate the two of you carving out some time for me today. It was good to see you again. This was a pleasure. Right. You've always been, it's like I told Rick Fay, right? Even if I'm not in touch with you all the time, doesn't mean you're not my favorite people.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Okay. So
sure.
Thanks for doing this. I'm gonna share this all over the place when I'm
okay, good.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, don't hesitate. You got any more questions or something? Holler.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. No. This is just round one. We'll do this again for sure.
Ah, okay, good, good.
All right.
Lynda, by the
Okay.
way, just not to brag too much about Lynda, but she made this book. Andrea Hawkins came out with a book, The Martial Arts Woman, and Lynda's got 3 pages in there about her background. The book is about all the different women in martial arts, and
Yes.
what they've done and how martial arts has helped them, and Lynda's in there, so it's kind of neat.
Well,
So.
okay. Now remember, the next book is the JKD Power Couple, right?
JKD Power Couple, okay.
Okay, right? And if you guys don't do, you know what? I just had a brilliant idea. I'll do it. But I'll interview people. I can't write it for myself, right? Because I don't know anything about, keeping a significant other. But I'll interview people like you.
Sure.
And people like Ron Balicki and Diana Inosanto.
Power Couple.
Yeah. And I'll write the book.
That sounds good. That sounds real good.
All right. Okay. Listen, guys, thanks again. I really appreciate it. This was fun.
Yeah, our pleasure. Thank
All
you.
right.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks.
Take care.
Here we are.
Yeah. I think you needed to add to allow camera and mic.
Yes, that's what I forgot.
Yeah. Okay. Now, fortunately, there's no echo, but sometimes there is. There's none now. So I usually use.
Oh, the headphones? Okay. Your plug.
Yeah. Okay. And that seems, and if we both do it, then there's never an echo.
Oh, okay.
All right. But this is how.
Okay, this is how it goes. Oops, you just. Oh, okay, you're all right. So if I was to get Lynda in the picture.
Hello.
Hey, Tweet.
How are you? Okay. Now, are you both going to come on? Because that'd be perfect.
Yeah, that's what we're going to try to do, right?
Okay. So then you might have to share. You might have to share the earbuds.
There, but well, she's not going to hear, right? So.
Right. But yeah, if you can set up your camera so that I can see both of you, that'll be perfect.
Yeah, we'll set that up. So at least I can see it's got to be. So it doesn't matter if I got to be horizontal with my phone, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
That will work better.
Yeah.
Okay. Lynda was asking you if anything in particular that you wanted to ask her so she can be ready.
Well, when I hang up with you now, I'm going to go finish up on my list of questions. But well, I'm gonna ask her as much as she can to give us the dirt on you.
Ask you questions, giving me the dirt on me.
None.
None.
No.
Good guy.
Good guy.
Yeah. Well, then.
I'm sorry.
She's sorry.
Okay. I tend to I'll have a general idea of what it is. Like one thing. I'll tell you this. There is no way that I could put pictures of everybody under whom you have trained or under whom you were certified on the postcard.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll definitely be delving into your history. And if I do a side-by-side comparison of your bios on your website, it looks like you guys have been together since birth.
It looks like we've been together since birth. Looking at the
right?
Pretty close. Pretty close.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that something like that will come up,
Okay.
right?
Sure.
Just to give her an idea.
Yeah. Yeah. To give you an idea, we'll talk about their history,
Mm.
met and stuff. Yeah. We put I think it's on the Facebook pictures. We put some black and white pictures back in the 70s of how we met.
Okay,
Just,
I'll take a look at that. I didn't
know,
see that one.
I'm coming up to it's in the albums portion of the pictures.
Okay. Okay.
And that's kind of funny. You got to read the caption.
Yeah. But it'll, I mean, you know, look, you guys will be the topic. That's essentially what we're doing.
Okay, good.
All right.
Yeah, because it takes Lynda a little while to gather her thoughts to say, you know, and obviously not everybody's going to understand her, so I'll be translating, you know.
Right. Yeah. No, that's fine. We do whatever it takes, man. Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I'll see you in a few hours then.
Okay, so we do it right at 3 or a little before to make sure we're connected, or?
Yeah, let's log on at like 2:57 or something.
Okay, so we say log on, you mean into Facebook?
Yes. Yeah. So
And
we both have to be on Facebook, and then
so should I kill my notifications like from Messenger and Facebook and all that, so none of that pops up when we're talking?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what to do about phone calls. You know,
you go to settings and you go to do not disturb.
oh, do not disturb. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Mention
So
that.
turn that on, and then also in display and brightness. Like I usually bring the brightness all the way up, and then display I turn off the like the auto power down, because you know you can set it to 30 seconds or whatever, and I put that on never.
Okay, that's the which is the auto you're saying you take off?
Yeah, no, in settings under display and brightness.
Right. And it says auto?
Auto lock, I think is what it says.
Okay, but you want that off, okay. Well, you can do that.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Yeah, so I'll just turn all notifications off. Well, wait a minute. There'd have to be a notification in Facebook that you're gonna.
Yes.
I have to keep
Yeah.
that.
I think you have to turn. I don't think you have to turn. I think once you put it on do not disturb, then it should be okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so I think we're pretty much set then.
All right.
Very
good.
good.
It's going to be like this. I'll put it on the stand here and I'll set it up so we can both be enough away
Okay.
so we can pick it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And then use the earbuds and we should be fine.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do that.
All right. Cool.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right.
Okay. All right. See you
See you
later.
in
Bye.
hours. Okay. Bye.